Hey, what's going on everyone? Justin here with High Priority again. I'm going to go ahead and use a process called electrolysis to remove all the rusty crap out of this old fuel tank. Let's go ahead and use some science. Alright, well some of you may be asking yourself, well Justin, what the hell is electrolysis? Well, I guess the way I would explain it is electrolysis is a method of removing rust or iron oxide by passing an electric current through a rusty piece of metal. And that electric current actually stimulates an exchange of ions while that rusty piece of metal is submerged in some sort of electrolyte solution. Well, our rusty piece of metal is inside this fuel tank, and our electrolyte solution is going to be achieved by using this Arm & Hammer superwash soda and some water inside our fuel tank, and then we also need some sort of electrode. Well, I went down to Home Depot, picked up this 1/4 inch rod, cut down a section that I needed, and I actually stuffed it through a spark plug boot to isolate it from the tank. And I stuffed it through this piece of plastic. And this will sit down inside here. You don't want it to touch any of the sides. You want it to be completely isolated just in the electrolyte solution. And I'll go ahead, I'll tape this down, and then what we'll do is we will hook a battery charger up to here. Put the positive lead up here, we'll put the negative lead somewhere on a bare spot on the bottom of the tank, and we'll just turn the battery charger on a low setting, and we'll just let the magic happen, I guess. I had planned on using an acid solution like vinegar, or even what's the other one? I can't remember. Some other caustic acid, which they work really well, but acids eat rust and they eat the good metal in the tank. Well, this tank already has a hole in the bottom of it. I just put some silicone on it right there for this job, so it's already got thin metal. Well, I didn't want to make it any more stressed or compromised, so I decided against using acid. So we're going to go ahead and use this electrolysis method and hope it works out. One thing you do want to do is take out any aluminum that's in your tank, which also means taking the petcock out. This petcock was trash from this thing sitting so long in the barn. I don't know if you've seen some of my other videos, but this is already junk. I got another one on order coming from, you guessed it, China. And then I just blocked off where the petcock goes here, so there's no more aluminum in here. I guess they see aluminum, it would just destroy aluminum and wreck it and all that, so take it all out. Alright, so the first thing we want to go ahead and do, now that we got all that techno science talk out of the way, is get this old fuel out of here and get some of this old rust out, and then rinse this out, get all the chunks out of it, and get it as clean as we can. So let's just see, this is probably going to be pretty nasty. Oh yeah. I'd say that's pretty gross. I'll go ahead and take this tank outside and rinse it out and dump it in a safe manner in a bucket in here where I can properly dispose of it. And then we'll go ahead and set up the electrolyte solution and the electrode or the rod in the tank, and we'll hook up the battery charger. Alright, another thing I forgot to mention is if your tank is really rusty inside there, you can throw bolts or nuts or whatever in there, or you do what I did and throw a piece of chain in there. I already did it earlier. Put that chain in there with either some gas or whatever and shake the hell out of your tank, and it kind of beats up on the inside and knocks all the loose flaky stuff out of there, and then you can dump it out. Right now I'm just going to go ahead and put some water in it and rinse it around and see how clean I can get it before I hose it out with the hose. Alright, we're back from rinsing out the tank. We're good to go there. I just have it sitting up on this box to isolate the tank when I hook up the battery charger. Now I already went ahead and mixed up my water and superwash solution. The page I have been kind of following is on Indestructibles. I'll go ahead and put a link in the description. They said to use about 1 tablespoon per gallon. Now I'll go ahead and fill the tank. Alright, the tank is topped off. Go ahead and stick our electrode in here. there. I'll go ahead and put some tape on this. Alright, now I'll go ahead and hook the positive to our electrode. Alright, that's good. And then we'll take the negative, and I just sand a little spot on the tank. I'm going to retouch up some of the paint anyways. I made sure I had a good grounding spot. And that's it. Now it's isolated off the metal table, so it's not going to ground to the table. We've got our solution in there. We've got our electrode, our metal rod in there. Now let's just go ahead and turn on the charger and see what happens. Alright, there we go. Now we just let it do its thing and check it here in a few hours and see that rod. That rod should get all rusty, at least the write-up I saw online. The rod got all gross and had a bunch of stuff on it. We'll go ahead and pull it out and we'll clean it off like they did in the write-up on Indestructibles, and stay tuned. Alright, we're back at this. I've had the charger hooked up at the 12 volt 10 amp setting. It's been on for about 10 to 11 hours. Let's go ahead and peel the tape off and pull the electrode out and see how crazy it looks. I haven't even looked in here for about 10 hours, so be a little surprise to me too. Let's go ahead and shut the charger off. Alright, whoa, look at that, huh? That is pretty crazy. Alright, so the write-up that I've kind of been following, the guy was cleaning this off every time he checked it, and he poured out all the solution and put new solution in, so I'll probably go ahead and do that same thing. Go ahead and get the camera over here and look inside there. Here's that electrode. Pretty nuts. A little gross looking stuff floating in it, so let's go ahead and pour that out into a bucket and we'll see how that looks. Oh yeah, brown water. You can see down inside there. You know, it's turning black just like they said it would. But hey, it's looking pretty good. We'll go ahead and rinse this out with water again, put new solution in it, and clean the electrode off and let her go another round. Hey there, boys and girls. We just finished up with the electrolysis process on this Kawasaki fuel tank. I ended up running 4 tanks of the electrolyte solution through here, and I ran those about 12 hours at a time. So in between there, I went ahead and pulled this out periodically and scraped off all the crusty barnacles, and then just put it back in and just let it keep cooking. So I've got about, you know, on and off, about 4 days wrapped up in this project, but it's come out really clean, really nice. If you take a look on the inside, most of the rust, if not all the rust, is gone. There's a little bit of black junk down in there. That's just converted rust from this process, and that should be nothing to worry about. So in that aspect, I'm really happy with how that turned out. So just to go through a recap, I went ahead and used Arm & Hammer superwash soda. I used a piece of steel, not stainless steel, don't make that mistake.
a battery charger, and some water. And then the ratio you use of the superwash soda to the water is about 1 to 2 tablespoons per gallon of water. And then that gives you your electrolyte solution. So next up, I'm going to go ahead and take some of that isopropyl alcohol, dump it in here, swish it around. That should get rid of all that water residue, that water that's left in there. And then I'll go ahead and dump in some WD-40, swish that around, and that should prevent any flash rust from happening. But before I do any of that, we have a little problem in the bottom here. Not sure if you can see that. There's a little pinhole there. So I'm going to go ahead and get out my soldering tools, and we'll try to solder that hole shut. I'll go ahead and break that video off onto its own. So if you're interested in watching that, stay tuned here in the next week or two, and I'll get that one up. But if you like this video, please feel free to like it. And if you like watching the crap I'm doing in my garage, feel free to subscribe. So alright, well, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.